Tuesday, the 25th of June 2024, a day that promises not to be business as usual for Kenyans and Kenya. The major significance is double-barreled. On one end, there is the promise of a mega protest manifesting as youth-driven, peaceful demonstrations in numerous parts of the country in continuing calls for the rejection of the Finance Bill of 2024. On the other end, and directly related, the National Assembly will be voting on the controversial proposed law, which to the many who are against it is an unjustified additional burden on an already wary and beat-down populace, and more to that, by a government whose usage of these hard-earned taxes, they say, is not prudent or well prioritized. Taxes must be levied to enable the government to pay for key services across sectors, as well as meet its financial commitments, including national debt. However, immense suffering is driving hordes of charged young people to protest against the government. During and after the public participation on the taxes, many called for the rejection of the finance bill, either in totality or parts of it. However, the majority of MPs went ahead and voted for it, sailing it through the second reading. It is laudable that Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has made it known that the planned protests for tomorrow will be allowed, if peaceful. He has stated the obvious legal position, but based on previous situations on the ground, things could be different. The police chiefs and their juniors are known to use brute force against even peaceful protesters, and just last week, 2 young men have been confirmed dead, many others injured, and some are being abducted and claimed to have been tortured. It does not augur well for the country, for the authorities to ignore the people's genuine pleas and, more so, dismiss them in a condescending, dismissive and demeaning manner. However, what we have witnessed in the past few days is blatant police brutality. The officers have pounced on and arrested peaceful demonstrators. The freedoms of movement, association and expression are cardinal rights the police must respect. But even after all these concerning incidents, not a word from the relevant authorities regarding the same. These developments are alarming and have informed calls for dialogue and pleas for the government to listen to the people's grievances. The clerics have articulated a position that many agree with, that though the country cannot run without taxes, excessive levies are unacceptable. Again, we reiterate, the security agents must also desist from using excessive force against peaceful protesters. For unity and national stability and prosperity, a solution needs to be found. But it should not be through toxicity, barrels of guns in the hands of trigger-happy officers, or lawlessness of any kind. That is the memo. You may protest, but
they must not obstruct traffic of any kind.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki fails to address police-linked killings as well as abductions in the anti-finance bill protests. Also tonight, Dr. Austin Omondi's traumatic experience in the hands of his abductors.
He was hit, and in the midst of the confusion, he was blindfolded and put into the car.
People against the finance bill are being taken away mysteriously amid claims of state intimidation.
Abductions are unconstitutional.
Plus, protests against the members of parliament who gave a nod to the finance bill.
To expect from a mother when anajua uchungu ya wanadada kama sisi aende pale apitishe finance bill.
Protesters say this is a warm-up to the Tuesday mega protests. And
our Heavenly Father,
off you go. President William Ruto flags off 400 officers to Haiti in the controversial mission.
This is a significant milestone in our pursuit of sustainable peace and security, which are the foundations of freedom, democracy, and prosperity at home.
Live from Nation Centre, this is NTV Tonight with Smriti Vidyarthi.
Thanks for joining us. David Agondoa is on the sign language interpretation tonight. Now, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki remained silent on the troubling deaths of 2 protesters during Thursday's anti-finance bill demonstrations, as well as the recent abductions of vocal youth activists participating in the demos. Instead, Kindiki has issued a stern warning to those planning to protest the controversial finance bill on Tuesday, cautioning them against marching towards protected areas. He emphasized that any form of disorder would be met with zero tolerance. NTV's Zainab Ismail starts us off.
As the anti-finance bill protesters gear up for another round of protests on Tuesday, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki has outlined strict parameters he says must be adhered to by all protesters. These parameters include, but not limited to, informing the police of the routes they will take in what the CS said was for the purposes of providing escort, informing the police of the timings of their activities and stopping the activities at sunset or 6:30 p.m. or whichever is earlier. Kindiki also issued a stern warning to those considering a march to State House or attempting to forcibly enter Parliament buildings and other government buildings.
They must adhere to the laws of Kenya, including the Protected Areas Act that limits access to certain critical infrastructure for national security reasons. And the police will guide them in which areas they cannot access by operation of the law on the protection of critical infrastructure.
The CS further dared protesters against interfering with any forms of transport, either road, rail, sea or air.
Non-protesters and other members of the public who hold a contrary view to that of protesters are bound by the same limitations, and they must exercise their right to disagree, if at all, in the same manner, in the same circumstances.
While affirming the right to protest is constitutionally protected, Kindiki emphasized that this right must not infringe upon the freedoms of the general public who are not participating in the demonstrations.
The national security organs of our country shall remain neutral, apolitical, but firm in enforcing the law of our country, and no form of lawlessness is going to be entertained whatsoever. We have seen people pretending to be protesters, damaging road infrastructure and other amenities built by the taxes and the sweat of the people of Kenya. I dare you to try that.
Well, this statement from the Interior Minister comes in the midst of growing concerns over the recent abductions of activists opposing the finance bill and the tragic deaths of 2 protesters. 29-year-old Rex Masai was fatally shot by police, while 21-year-old Evans Kiratu, who lost his life after being struck by a tear gas canister during the demos. The abduction of Shadrach Kiprono, also known as Shad Khalif, whose whereabouts remain unknown, Dr. Austin Omondi, and social media influencer Billy Simani, also known as Crazy Nairobian, who were later released from police custody under unclear circumstances, a huge concern on the freedom of those who demonstrate. The youth-led protests that have caught the government by surprise in a widely shared poster outline their agenda, including undertaking a 7-day protest in solidarity with the 2 slain protesters and pushing the government to heed their plight and scrap the finance bill. Zainab Ismail, NTV.
Well, activists Boniface Mwangi, Hanifa Aden and Hussein Khalid have vowed to carry on with the anti-tax demos tomorrow. The trio had presented themselves to the DCI headquarters for fear of being abducted. And as NTV's Brian Mushiri now reports, the activists are calling upon Kenyans to come out in their numbers and get counted in the anti-finance bill protests.
Accompanied by Chief Justice Emeritus Willy Mutunga, the activists visited the Directorate of Criminal Investigations headquarters. They had indicated that they would present themselves there for the fear of being abducted, as has been witnessed throughout the weekend. Early morning on Kiambu Road, and the security presence was palpable, more so at the DCI headquarters. Here, officers from different units were stationed on the road and the gate leading to the headquarters. At about 12 p.m., Mwangi and his colleagues emerged in a convoy and briefly addressed the media.
We have a million people's march. Our president is selling us to the IMF and World Bank. He's selling us to slavery, and he wants our freedom. So tomorrow we're marching for our freedom.
Traffic was stalled on Kiambu Road to allow the trio make their way in. After about an hour inside the headquarters, 5 cars of the make of Subaru Outbacks and Foresters, synonymous with the DCI, zoomed out of the headquarters, heading for the regional police headquarters, Nairobi area. Here, they were again held for some 3 hours without being questioned or even being prosecuted.
We sat there for a while. Actually, at some point, I wanted to get out, and I was told that I couldn't get out. So I asked, am I under arrest? Nikaambiwa wala likuleta waulize, you know? So I think at some point I was probably under arrest. I don't know.
Katikati ya kurekodi hizo statement wakaja wakatuambia kwamba tuko huru. Kwa hivyo hii ni kuonesha kwamba yale wanayoyafanya ni kujaribu kushika watu, kuwatisha kama wale wengine ambao wameachiliwa. Na sisi tunasema kuna mwenzetu Shadrach hadi hivi sasa hajaachiliwa. Tunataka aachiliwe haraka iwezekanavyo.
You're not supposed to amend it, and the members of parliament, you are representing our interests. So if you go out there and you are bought, we are the ones on ground. We are going to recall you and tutapatana kwa ground 2027.
Following a day that has been full of activities, starting from the DCI headquarters along Kiambu Road to now, where they are free, activists indicate that tomorrow's protest against the finance bill of 2024, dubbed Occupy the Streets and Occupy Parliament, will still go on. Brian Mushiri, NTV, Nairobi.
The Occupy demonstrations against the 2024 finance bill continued in different parts of the country today, including Mombasa, Lamu and Nakuru counties, as residents camped in sub-county offices of the members of parliament who supported the bill during its second reading last week. NTV's Ruth Samwe Chesenge tells us more.
A day before Tuesday's national anti-tax demos dubbed Total Shutdown Kenya, protesters in different parts of the country flocked their area constituency offices to express anger after their MPs voted in support of the 2024 finance bill at the second reading stage. In Joro, Nakuru County, tens of youth expressed their dissatisfaction with area MP Charity Kathambi for voting yes.
Tumetokea tukiwa na hasira sana. Sababu ni gani? Hata mama county mwenyewe ametuangusha. Ametuangusha. Hatuku expect from a mother mwenye anajua uchungu ya wanadada kama sisi aende pale apitishe finance bill.
The youth made several rounds within Njoro town before marching for over 5 kilometers to Kwarait area along the Njoro-Mount Narok road.
She is elected by the people of Njoro, and so she is answerable. We are her bosses, and just in case she wants Ruto, her boss, then we are telling her, relinquish the seat, the elective seat, and go for an appointed one, where Ruto will be the one who will appoint you, and you'll be answerable.
Kama mbunge wetu alienda kuambua akirishe Ruto, next round asahau na ikiti.
Meanwhile, at the constituency offices, police officers stood guard, denying the protesters entry into the public facility. Residents in support of Kathambi's choice had this to say.
Tunaisupport kwa sababu already imeweka kipengee hapa, tunaona walimu wameandikwa, tunaona pesa zimewekwa za kujenga mabarabara.
Mtu anasema reject finance bill, yule mtu anasema hataki maendeleo yoyote kwa wananchi. Hii finance bill inatusaidia mambo mengi sana. Imetuongezea 50 milioni ya stima, imetuongezea CDF ile mmeona nimebadilisha nayo consistency kwa kujenga mashule.
Elsewhere in the neighboring constituency of Molo, 4 youth were grilled for more than 7 hours at the Molo DCI offices for allegedly planning Tuesday's demos.
Sisi ni wale ambao tumetoka kuhakikisha kwamba we are rejecting the finance bill in totality.
We shall not be intimidated anymore kwa sababu sisi tunajua rights zetu.
In Nyali, Mombasa County, irate residents stormed the office of Mohammed Ali, the Nyali Member of Parliament, expressing their resentment after Ali supported the bill last week.
We are sending Moha tomorrow as the residents and people of Nyali sub-county for him to go reject. It is our voice, not his voice.
We will be watching you to see where you will cast your ballot, either with the people or with the oppressors.
Police officers stood on the sidelines watching the demonstrators voice their grievances. And in Lamu County, the situation was not any different. Tens of residents carrying placards occupied different areas of the small town, chanting anti-tax slogans. Ruth Sarmoi Chesenge, NTV in Nakuru.
The current wave of abductions and disappearance of individuals linked to the ongoing countrywide protests have taken Kenyans down memory lane of an era when those opposed to government were arrested and tortured. 3 supporters of the Occupy Parliament campaign were over the weekend arrested and released. Among them was Dr. Austin Omondi, popularly known as Japrado on social media, who was actively involved in offering medical services to those injured during the protests. KMPDU has condemned the abductions and vowed not to be silenced by threats from the government.
Allah! Allah!
Teamwork makes the dream work. These doctors were elated to find their comrade Dr. Austin Omondi, popularly known as Japrado, who had been missing for over 12 hours. His body demeanor indicating the horrors he underwent at the hands of his abductors.
He was walking and then all of a sudden it was hit, and in the midst of the confusion he was blindfolded and put into the car and then taken away, driven away. So in the process of being driven away is when he was being interrogated and then taken into a private place for the same probing. There was a lot of probing on whether there is somebody behind this particular thing, whether it's a financier, whether there is a particular ill motive other than what is being seen in the social media or in different platforms.
Daktari. Yes. Viva to the spirit of the revolution, viva. Viva. Down with the oppressive systems, down.
Dr. Omondi was among the doctors who led the medical team at Jamia Mosque on the 20th of June to offer medical services to Kenyans who have been injured during the demonstrations. For the young generation, the narrative remains the same. They have selflessly downed their tools, demanding change and a better Kenya for future generations. Some of the ongoing abductions, they say, are intended to instill fear and silence their calls for reform.
It was the first time that he probably was arrested or abducted or put in such a situation. Because one thing that came in his mind is that he was not going to be alive anymore. So because he did not know anything that was happening beyond the particular surrounding. He was driven around into so many places and then put into a dark room that he could not have any conversations about anything. And then later, I think out of the pressure that was being given, he was then taken and released next to Gigiri police station.
These actions have in turn acted as a catalyst, igniting a fire among the young doctors. They assert that their voices and professions will not be silenced by such threats, standing firm in their commitment to advocate for change and a better future for Kenya.
We've mobilized over 2,000 medical personnel around the country. And we have medical personnel in every county to support us during these demonstrations in case anyone needs emergency services. But to come back to Nairobi, we'll be having over 500 medical personnel. That includes medical doctors, clinic officers, nurses, and physiotherapists, psychologists. Still have them. And we'll be having 2 stations. That will be at All Saints Cathedral, and the other one will be at Macmillan Library.
The ongoing abductions among young people have raised more questions about the state's actions in its desperate attempts to pinpoint the leaders behind the demonstrations. So far, activist Shadrack Kiprono is still missing after he was abducted by unknown men at a parking lot on Sunday evening. Helen Aura, NTV.
Right, from that story, we need to take a quick break now on NTV. Do stay with us. There is more coming up on the other side.
Mbali tumetoka na bado tunasonga, kote tumeenea. The future is on. I am the future. Doing good. I am the future. I am the future.
Celebrating 50 years of our past and inspiring our future. I&M Bank.
I'm telling you guys, this new Showmax app is on some next level business.
Oh, it's mad.
I know, man. All Premier League games live. 308 games on my phone.
Good quality. Outstanding. And you can even adjust your data settings. Let's say you're somewhere where the network isn't so good or you're using data bundles.
Is it too able to run them?
Bro, you can pause, rewind, and press play.
So, bro, if you missed a game at the beginning, you can still watch it from the start as long as you tune into that game before it ends. 500 bob a month. How many beers are those?
It depends with what you're drinking.
Shika the new Showmax app today and get every Premier League game live on your phone for just 500 shillings a month. Shika Showmax, streaming for Africa.
Colgate Herbal is formulated from a unique blend of natural herbs and is scientifically proven to strengthen teeth and keep gums healthy. Try Colgate Herbal, scientifically proven for strong teeth and healthy gums.
The moment I feel my pain starting to fade, it's like I'm going back to myself on a really good day.
Panadol Extra releases you from strong pain. Panadol, release starts here.
Mimi si Alisha, mimi sitajifungia kuweka chumba huko juu nikilia mpaka ile siku utakapojifunza kuheshimu ndoa yako, lakini jichunge, badilisha tabia zako.
Ushauri wa shetani.
Nyamaza wewe na wewe macho makubwa tu.
I hear Liz Rose is facing a financial crisis. How could you have appetite when your salon is falling apart?
Kwa hiyo umekuja hapa kusherehekea vile unavyotuibia clients with your free coupons.
Something like that?
Alex, piga kelele mpaka utoke lakini sikufungulii mlango.
So wataka nilale wapi?
Enda ulale chooni, jikoni, kokote utakako lakini usinisumbue.
Alisha, hata Tony ajaribu kukushawishi vipi, usiwache mipango yako. Dai ya deni ni kulipa.
To register or book an exhibition space, visit the website or contact Anastasia on 0719 488 767 and Patrick on 0719 395 824.
Welcome back. President William Ruto has commissioned the first 400 police officers to Haiti to combat gangs terrorizing residents. The group will depart for Haiti this week to lead a UN-backed mission aimed at tackling gang violence. The Kenyan team is composed of the Rapid Deployment Unit, that's RDU, Anti-Stock Theft Unit, ASTU, General Service Unit, GSU, and Border Patrol Unit. Our senior reporter Melita Oletenges has the details.
Kenya police officers are preparing for deployment to Haiti this week. President William Ruto handed the troops command the Kenyan flag at the Administration Police Training College in Embakasi, and prayers followed for the first 400 soldiers in the multinational security support mission.
As we commission these officers,
it is now confirmed that Deputy Inspector General of Police Noor Gabo, Head of Operations of the General Service Unit Samuel Chebet, and Senior Assistant Inspector General Geoffrey Otunge will lead the troops in Haiti.
Your Excellency, I want to assure you that these officers, we trained them since October last year, and they have undergone various training, United Nations training, and also they have undergone a fieldcraft exercise at Magadi. Your Excellency, these officers, we were able to take them through a thorough medical checkup.
On Tuesday last week, a team of Haitian police commanders met Kenya's Inspector General of Police ahead of the planned deployment. The Haitian police also met with commanders who will be part of the multinational peacekeeping mission. Additionally, Kenya will host Haitian police for training, with the delegation visiting the Nairobi barracks where drills will take place.
The next contingent of your colleagues will be joining you soon. Proceed with the assurance that your deployment will quickly reach the required optimal numbers.
Kenya is set to lead a UN-backed multinational peacekeeping mission with officers drawn from several countries to combat gang violence in Haiti. Violence has left thousands dead and forced more than 360,000 people to flee their homes.
You are undertaking a vital mission that transcends borders and cultures. Your presence in Haiti will bring hope and relief to communities torn apart by violence and ravaged by disorder.
Deployment initially scheduled for May was postponed to allow for the completion of bases where the officers will operate and the procurement of essential equipment. The deployment, however, had faced court challenges. Haiti has endured decades of poverty, political instability, and natural disasters. International intervention in Haiti has a complex history, with previous missions facing significant challenges. Melita Oletenges, NTV.
Now back home, in residents of Ole Kasasi and Kandisi in Rongai, Kajiado County are up in arms against the poor state of roads in their area. The residents claim they've been forced to contribute for the repair of the roads despite President William Ruto having launched the road upgrading program. Only a section of the road has been repaired, making it difficult for residents to commute easily. Area leaders have also been called out for making false promises over the project.
Vumbi yote inakuja kwangu. Haya, vile wametengeneza hii barabara, hawajaweka pahali ya watoto kupitia. Hapa tuko na shule ya secondary, tuko na primary, tuko na kanisa. Kanisa mbili ziko pande hii na hospitali, na hata mtoto kupita kwa barabara hana pahali ya kupitia. Boda zinatugonga kwa njia. Watu wamevunjwa hapa na boda kwa njia. Juu ukienda kupotelea gari, ndio hiyo boda inafanya nini? Inapita karibu.
Hata ukiingia huku ndani barabara za mitaani unakuta ya kwamba zinatusumbua wakati kunanyesha, tunaangusha makastoma kama watu wa bodaboda. Kwa hivyo tuko na uchungu mkubwa. Licha ya kusema ya kwamba mafuta yamepanda bei, vyakula vimepanda bei, lakini hata mahali pa kupita penyewe ni shida kubwa sana.
Kwa hivyo decide na tukaongea na tukasema ya watu watoe pesa tujitengenezee barabara, maana hakuna mtu anatusikia. Ndio sababu mnaona imegwaragwarwa juzi tu, just about a week ago ikawachwa vile ilivyo.
Elsewhere now, and comedy is not a preserve of adults. Even children have their part in this creative expression. This is among the facets of the return of Churchill's show to NTV after 2 years. The celebrated show will see many young people, including children, showcasing their humour and talent. Children's content is part of the package between the show producers and NTV Kenya. This partnership will serve to meet the audience's demand for quality local content, which is available across platforms, that's TV and digital. The show host, Daniel Churchill Ndamuki, expressed joy in the return to the Nation Media Group stable as NMG's Chief Operating Officer Monica Ndungu reiterated the deliberate move to respond to audience needs. The Churchill show is set to relaunch this July.
Churchill Live, Churchill Show, and now you know what happened after COVID. I think that was the last show we had, last live recording, and of course we did the Journey series. So we're going back for the Churchill Show live recordings. That's what you've been requesting for all these years. And yes, we are back at home, NTV.
There's also included a children's show. That it's not just about the Churchill show, but we're also looking for talent, for younger talent, a lot of it which we see but we never see on television. And as a priority for Nation Media Group, for us, we serve the audience from whatever age they are.
Good evening. Let's take a look at the business news. My name is Nina Shaban. Interventions in the interbank market, tightening of the benchmark interest rate and the Eurobond buyback helped salvage a battered shilling into one of the best performing currencies in the world this year, the Central Bank of Kenya, also known as CBK, Governor Kamal Thuge has revealed. As of Monday, the Kenya shilling rallied by close to 20% against the US dollar on the year-to-year date basis, with the CBK quoting the exchange rate at 128.63 compared to 160 shillings and 75 cents on the 30th of January. According to Kamal Thuge, CBK interventions to restore calm and stability to the exchange rate go back to his first days in office last June. Interventions to steady the exchange rate have included allowing for an electronic trading system and lowering the minimum transaction recorded as a forex interbank deal from 500,000 US dollars or 64.2 million shillings to 100,000 US dollars, which amounts to 12.8 million shillings. The CBK has also unified its quoted exchange rate.
Pressures on prices and also on the exchange rate. And I think within 1 week, I called for a Monetary Policy Committee meeting, and we agreed to raise the policy rate by 100 basis points, which was, I think the market took it. It was a surprise to the market, but we also knew that we needed to take some very strong action to address these pressures on the exchange rate as well as on inflation.
Kenya has settled the balance of $560 million, or just about 72 billion shillings, of the 2014 Eurobond using a part of the proceeds of a $1.2 billion World Bank loan. The debt, which was maturing on June 14th, was settled on Friday alongside the last half-yearly interest payment of $19.25 million. That was due to bondholders for the 6 months to June 2024. The settlement formally closed the chapter of Kenya's debut Eurobond issued on June 2014 that raised a total of $2.75 billion from 2 tenors of 5 years, $750 million and 10-year, $2 billion. The 5-year paper was paid back in June 2019, and in February this year, the government bought back $1.44 billion worth of notes on the 10-year paper using the proceeds of a new issuance sold at the same time. Following the buyback, the currency gained on the greenback and is currently trading at an average of 128 shillings and 63 cents. Demand for new vehicles fell 13.51% in the first 5 months of this year on the back of the elevated cost of loans and taxes. New vehicle assemblers and dealers sold 4,154 units in the review period, according to the fresh industry data, compared to 4,803 units in the same period of last year. The pace of drop in sales of new vehicles has slightly increased compared with last year, when orders declined 13.51% from 5,526 units in January to May period of 2022. Data tracked by the Kenya Motor Industry Association shows. Now, the data shows that a fall in demand was witnessed across 3 new motor vehicle assemblers and dealers, which control about 90% of volumes. The general drop in demand for new cars has come in a period when households and businesses are battling increased cost of borrowing, which has hit their plans to acquire new vehicles. And banks are charging as much as 25% interest for financing the purchase of cars. This is according to dealers. All right, so that's it for Business News tonight. My name is Nina Shavan, wishing you a lovely night.
Kenya, twende mbele. NCBA, go for it.
Nivea Pearl and Beauty Deodorant. The perfect balance of 48-hour protection and care for soft, smooth, and beautiful underarms. Try our new Pearl and Beauty Black Pearl for smooth and perfumed underarms.
5 questions with Sarah. Hi guys. Wow, Sarah, your skin is glowing. What beauty soap do you use? I use a beauty soap that keeps my skin soft, moisturized, and protected from germs. But Sarah, the beauty soaps I know don't give germ protection.
Dettol Skincare does. It combines the trusted protection of Dettol with 2 times moisturizers to protect my skin from germs and keeps my skin soft with a beautiful fragrance. Beautiful skin is germ-free skin.
Umecheza Loto Moto na umewasaidia wengi. Unachangia pakubwa na zawadi kibao zinakungoja. Na kukupa ushindi wako ndio raha yetu. Hawatende mema.
It's God sent.
Thank you so much. Na sasa kwenye star 570 hash cheza lucky game ujipatie entry ticket ya kuingia kwenye draw ya kujishindia moja kati ya magari haya mawili, ikiwa ni Probox nayo na Demio nayo tushinde.
Azidi tu kuendelea kumbariki.
Kwenye star 570 hash wewe si mshindi tu, wewe ni tegemeo kubwa.
Mimi si Alisha. Mimi sitajifungia kwa chumba huko juu nikilia mpaka ile siku utakapojifunza kuheshimu ndoa yako, lakini jichunge, badilisha hizo tabia zako.
Ushauri wa shetani.
Nyamaza wewe na wewe macho makubwa tu.
I hear Liz Rose is facing a financial crisis. How could you have appetite when your salon is falling apart?
Kwa hiyo umekuja hapa kusherehekea vile unavyotuibia clients with your free coupons.
Something like that?
Alex, piga kelele pa utoke, lakini sikufungulii mlango.
So wataka nilale wapi?
Enda ulale chooni, jikoni, kokote utakako, lakini usinisumbue.
Alisha, hata Tony ajaribu kukushawishi vipi, usiwache mipango yako. Dai ya deni ni kulipa.
To register or book an exhibition space, visit the website or contact Anastasia on 0719 488 767 and Patrick on 0719 395 824.
Hello there, it's time for the Monday Sports Update. Good evening, I'm Bernard Ndong. The 4th annual conference of the Kenya Academy of Sports kicked off today in Nairobi, with stakeholders drawn from different areas congregating for the 3-day event that will chart a roadmap to advance sports in the country.
The theme of this year's conference is Advancing Beyond Sport Talent, a case of monetizing of sports talent. We are zeroing our discussions around monetizing of sports talent so that our young people and those ones who are also in the sports sector can take advantage of their careers and make a living, a decent living out of the sporting career. We congregate all sports fraternity together in order to discuss, share our experiences, share the challenges we have, and also capacity build each other on what we are doing.
The 2024 edition of the annual Rhino Cup cricket tournament that was held at the Olpejeta Conservancy culminated this past weekend as the Meru Cricket Club dominated the Rhino Cup category. The decade-long tournament helps to create awareness of the risk of extinction of the northern white rhino, with only 2 of them being housed at the Conservancy left on the planet. NTV's Hilary Anekea was at the Olpejeta Conservancy over this weekend and now gives us a sneak peek into the cricket action in the wild.
The 90,000-acre Olpejeta Conservancy, home to the last 2 remaining northern white rhinos, Najin and Fatu, hosted the Rhino Cup cricket tournament for the 10th year running this past weekend. The event helped to create awareness of the plight of the northern white rhino and the broader risk of extinction for this and other species due to poaching. The 2024 edition was arguably the most competitive version of the tournament since its inaugural leg in 2015, with the teams from as far as Australia signing up for this year's showpiece.
It's been a wonderful tournament this year. It's been divided into 3 grades. The lowest level for the Sudan Smash, which caters for all the social players. Mid-level, Kifaru Cup for the regular club players. And the top layer, the Rhino Cup, the elite competition. We've got teams from Australia, some of the best teams in Kenya, multiple internationals, ex and current internationals playing. We just want to get bigger and better next year.
Meru CC reigned supreme in the Rhino Cup category. Legion CC triumphed in the Kifaru Cup as the Nane Bora and Mario Tours won the Sudan Smash and the Sudan Memorial Cup.
Yeah, look, I think just to create an environment in the middle of a conservancy to come and play cricket itself is quite an achievement. Thanks to all the sponsors. Rob's been working tirelessly over the year to make this happen once a year. It's really nice to see younger teams. Myself, Hiren, Bridge, we're players who've been fortunate to play for Kenya over many years over the past. And to come back and play cricket in this environment, to see that the youngsters are getting an opportunity to come and play, it's a great platform to see how this cricket mode can also be taken into schools.
And it goes beyond cricket. It's about the conservation of all these beautiful animals at the Olpejeta Conservancy. And a huge shout out to everybody that made this a success.
Right, from Olpejeta we climax in Nairobi, where the CFAO Mobility Kenya has announced a partnership of 6 vehicles to the National Olympics Committee of Kenya, NOC, as they prepare for the Paris Olympic Games. As the official mobility partner, CFAO has provided 2 37-seater Mercedes buses, 2 Toyota Hilux pickups, 1 Volkswagen Tiguan, and 1 Suzuki Grand Vitara, which will be available for 2 months. The technical team and the athletes will use these vehicles for their training needs, transport around the country, as well as airport transfers during the competition. The support will go towards facilitating the movement and logistics of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games ahead of the Games that kick off from the 26th of next month until the 11th of August 2024 in Paris, France.
For easy, smooth training, because of what you have done with us today, availing these motor vehicles to us because it has been always a very critical when a team is preparing and we have no or very small number of vehicles, maybe from facility A to B.
We are proud to announce the sponsorship of 6 vehicles in total, which are 2 buses, which are 37-seater. We've got 2 Toyotas, 1 VW, 1 Suzuki, and that is really what I was actually talking about, is we are a multi-brand company, and we are able to meet all the needs of the Olympic team and of the individual customers that we have.
Well, that's it in the world of sports. Thank you so much for your time and attention. As always, remember, I'll still be in studio on Sport On. And tonight we are hosting an African tennis legend, a Kenyan star, Angela Okutoye. Stay tuned for that after the news broadcast.
Make sure you stay tuned to NTV for Sport On. Well, thanks so much for watching. I'm Smriti Vidyarthi. David Agondoa has been our sign language interpreter. We leave you with some inspiration. Here is a moment from nature. Good night.
This is NTV.
Nyinyi ndio mlikuwa washindi wetu wa shamba ya kwanza.
Ni kweli.
Tumepitia ofisi za Landa ya registrar na this is your official title deed.
Wagoi jiro ndio hiyo. Mimi ndiye nilikuwa mshindi wa shamba moja ya kwanza ya rotomoto huko Mara. Sasa leo nimeitwa hapa wanikabidhi title yangu original. Na ndio hii kabisa.
Christopher?
Yes.
Nyinyi ndio washindi. Washindi wa nini?
Wa samba.
And I'm here to present hiyo.
Sawa.
Sasa hiyo shamba ni yenu official.
Christopher Mudhoya Ntoibiri. Asante sana. Nimepokea ile kitu ambayo nilikuwa nangojea. Loto moto ni ya ukweli kabisa.
Kwako wewe bado ushindi huko. 30th of June mwezi huu namtangaza mshindi wa Probox. Cheza Lucky Game.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
5 questions with Sarah. Hi guys. Wow, Sarah, your skin is glowing. What beauty soap do you use? I use a beauty soap that keeps my skin soft, moisturized, and protected from germs. But Sarah, the beauty soaps I know don't give germ protection.
Dettol Skincare does. It combines the trusted protection of Dettol with 2 times moisturizers to protect my skin from germs and keeps my skin soft with a beautiful fragrance. Beautiful skin is germ-free skin.
The new KCB mobile loan is unbelievably flexible and incredibly affordable. You can now borrow up to 1 million Kenya shillings from as low as 1.2% as a 1-day, 7-day, 14-day, 30-day loan, or enjoy a longer-term period of up to 1 year at competitive rates. Dial *522# or apply on the KCB app today. The KCB mobile loan, unbelievably flexible, incredibly affordable. KCB, for people, for better. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya.
Mimi si Alisha. Mimi sitajifungia kwa iko chumba uko juu nikilia. Mpaka ile siku utakapojifunza kuheshimu ndoa yako, lakini jichunge. Badilisha tabia zako.
Ushauri wa shetani.
Nyamaza wewe na wewe macho makubwa tu.
I hear Lee Rose is facing a financial crisis. How could you have appetite? when your salon is falling apart.
Kwa hiyo umekuja hapa kusherehekea vile unavyotuibia clients with your free coupons.
Something like that?
Alex, piga kelele mpaka utoke lakini sikufungulii mlango.
So wataka nilale wapi?
Enda ulale chooni, jikoni, kokote utakako lakini usinisumbue.
Alisha, hata Tony ajaribu kukushawishi vipi, usiwache mipango yako. Dai ya deni ni kulipa.
To register or book an exhibition space, visit the website or contact Anastasia on 0719 488 767 and Patrick on 0719 395 824.
Shinda Probox nayo dial *570# chagua option 4 na ujiweke kwenye draw ya kujishindia Probox. Ushindi wako tunautangaza 30th of June. Probox nayo *570#. Tucheze, tusaidie, tushinde.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
The moment I feel my pain starting to fade, it's like I'm going back to myself on a really good day.
Panadol Extra releases you from strong pain. Panadol, release starts here.
Kikohozi cha muda wowote, kutokwa na jasho kwa wingi usiku, uchungu kwenye kifua, afya kudhoofika, tafuta matibabu. Labda ni TB ni ugonjwa wa kweli, ukipimwa matibabu yapo utapona. TB waishi poa.
Mimi si Alisha. Mimi sitajifungia kwa iko chumba huko juu nikilia. Mpaka ile siku utakapojifunza kuheshimu ndoa yako, lakini jichunge. Badilisha hizo tabia zako.
Ushauri wa shetani.
Nyamaza wewe na wewe macho makubwa tu.
I hear Lee Rose is facing a financial crisis. How could you have appetite when your salon is falling apart?
Kwa hiyo umekuja hapa kusherehekea vile unavyotuibia clients with your free coupons.
Something like that?
Alex, piga kelele mpaka utoke lakini sikufungulii mlango.
So wataka nilale wapi?
Enda ulale chooni, jikoni, kokote utakako lakini usinisumbue.
Alisha, hata Tony ajaribu kukushawishi vipi, usiwache mipango yako. Dai ya deni ni kulipa.
To register or book an exhibition space, visit the website or contact Anastasia on 0719 488 767 and Patrick on 0719 395 824.
I know that you love me, and that's more than enough for me, Alvaro. You already have my heart, and I can't imagine life without you.
I don't know if what happened to me with Angela can be called love. I thought it was love, but I guess she just dazzled me.
And did she fall in love with you?
Yes, of course.
I need you to come with me, all right?
What? Where?
I cannot tell you what I have to tell you here. Please trust me.
Trust you? No way. After what you did to me?
Look, you don't have to believe me. Just come with me.
You are the one.
Enjoy up to 100% asset finance, zero processing fees, and flexible repay options through our trusted partners. Visit any Family Bank branch countrywide to learn more and get started.
Prepare yourself for Oil and Gas Expo Kenya 2024. Kenya's biggest international trade exhibition on oil, gas, and petroleum industry. Connect with companies from over 24 countries, local suppliers, manufacturers, importers, and other industry professionals at KICC from 3rd to 5th July, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Mimi si Alisha. Mimi sitajifungia kwa iko chumba huko juu nikilia. Mpaka ile siku utakapojifunza kuheshimu ndoa yako, lakini jichunge. Badilisha hizo tabia zako.
Ushauri wa shetani.
Nyamaza wewe na wewe macho makubwa tu.
I hear Rose is facing a financial crisis. How could you have appetite when your salon is falling apart?
Kwa hiyo umekuja hapa kusherehekea vile unavyotuibia clients with your free coupons.
Something like that?
Alex, piga kelele mpaka utoke, lakini sikufungulii mlango.
So unataka nilale wapi?
Enda ulale chooni, jikoni, kokote utakako, lakini usinisumbue.
Alisha, hata Tony ajaribu kukushawishi vipi, usiwache mipango yako. Dai ya deni ni kulipa.
Enjoy up to 100% asset finance, zero processing fees, and flexible repay options through our trusted partners. Visit any Family Bank branch countrywide to learn more and get started. Nation.
Tired of endless scrolling? Say goodbye to the chaos. Introducing the all-new Business Daily website. Experience seamless navigation. Immerse yourself in a world of more videos and more podcasts. Discover more with our enhanced home pages. Engage like never before with our interactive tools. Join us and elevate your reading experience today. Business Daily. More possibilities.
Are you ready?
NTV, turning on your world.
Hello there and welcome to another edition of Sport On. My name is Bernard Ndong. It's the last Monday of the month of June, and the interesting thing is the fact that Wakabi, we're just edging closer and closer to the 2024 Paris Olympics. Wakabi, it will be exactly 1 month in the next 2 days to the Olympics.
Yes, Bernard, July 26th is the day, and as you've seen over this past weekend, teams selecting their people. This weekend has been the turn of the US. Their trials are very long. They take place over a long period. I think they go on a team tonight, on Monday night, and interesting to see the people who are getting ready and sort of aligning yourself into it. Shakari Richardson looking very good. Noah Lyles looking very good, and you look at it and you think, yeah, the Olympics are here with us. Especially like the way Sha'Carri Richardson looks like. I think she's the woman to beat in the 100 in Paris.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of the Olympics, of course, most people would have hoped that we'd have 2 teams in terms of rugby sevens qualifying for the Olympic Games. But unfortunately, Wakabi, the Kenya Lionesses, they were so near, so close, but it was just 1 match away from making history once again, for having 3 consecutive appearances at the Olympic Games.
It's such a sad bit when you look at it that way, because they came so close, they fought so hard throughout the 2 days, but then when it mattered most, we just couldn't find a way past China. And when you look at the effort they put just to get there, in spite of everything else that comes with this team, because this team has gone through a lot.
Yes.
Just to be here, even the build-up to this was just, there were issues around it, but they fought so hard, but ultimately fell just short. We just couldn't beat the Chinese, who seem to have our number. We beat them once in the Challenger Series.
And then they beat us consecutively.
Yeah, but then after that, they've just been too good for us. I'm really sad for the girls, because I thought they deserved it. They deserved that opportunity. Well. They fought so hard. They fought so hard, but in the end, it just couldn't work at it. They weren't lucky like the Blitzboker. The Blitzboker, and you spoke about it over the weekend, you told me, the Blitzboker are going to make it to the Olympics. They are going to find a way. They fought their way. At least they get a chance to go to the Olympics. But yeah, for our ladies, for our Lionesses, hard luck. Hopefully next time we can do it at the continental level, because I think that's where we have a better chance. Maybe, I don't know if it's the better chance, but it's an
slightly
easier
favorable,
route. Easier in quotes, because I mean, if you have South Africans in your pool, maybe it's not as easy. But yeah, really sad for Dennis Mwanja and his, no, is it Dennis Mwanja?
Yes,
it's Dennis. Yeah, Dennis, because they fought valiantly. That's the word I was looking for. They fought valiantly, but in the end, fell just short.
Just short.
Yeah.
And I think the fascinating thing is the fact that the Chinese, they have come up in rugby sevens. I understand that they have a very, very, very robust program in terms of nurturing young talent. So they start very early. So I think, remember there's a time that the Chinese had a plan to develop their football, but it didn't work out the way they would have wanted. But on the rugby side, it seems to be reaping fruit. So clearly that's something you can also adopt as well in terms of maybe growing the game.
Look, it almost doesn't add up the fact that the Chinese are such a huge economy, but they don't seem to do as good in some of the team sports, because in some they're really good. But they seem to be trying to do something with the rugby. The women's rugby seems to be really growing. And when you look at the effort and the kind of work they have put in making their team, then it actually gives our ladies even more props. Because if our ladies had half the resources, I think we would be way ahead of them. But yes, the Chinese seem to be very keen on, let's see how well we can do this. And their team, at least their women's team, looks like it's doing the job.
It did. Now, from Monaco, let's head on to West Africa, where Wakabi had the African Athletics Championships. One of the reasons why they were so low-key, and I'll tell you for a fact, our guest is smiling because I think she also understands what transpired in Cameroon, Wakabi. It was, to say the least, it was quite interesting, quote unquote, this organization.
That's
the last time you saw that starting block is using
it's called
blocks.
A clapper. It's called a clapper. The last time I saw it, I was probably in primary school in our village regional tournament. You know, when we start the championship, we only 6 schools in my village out in Central Province, and then we go all the way. That's the last time I saw a clapper. Like, for you to have a clapper at an Africa Championship in the year 2024, right? In the year 20, this is not 1995. In the year 2024, to have a clapper, and then there was, I don't know whether I showed you the picture.
Yes.
There was actually a Bluetooth speaker to sort of amplify.
Yes, to amplify it. It was just, anyway. On a positive note, we won, I think, about 3 gold. Sarah Mora won, Wakabi.
Yes, Sarah Mora winning. Big, really big for her, because, you know, she is getting onto the scene. I mean, she's, we call them cousin brother. She's cousin brother, cousin sister. Cousin sister to Mary Mora. Mary Mora is really pushing her. She really wants her to do something. So it's good to see her get an African title. She hasn't been training for long, and you can tell there is quite some potential there. I spoke to Mary Mora's coach, coincidentally, over the weekend, about something different, and I asked her how talented. She said she's very talented. Hopefully she can build on it, but it's good to see her win an African title. But then again, it's an Olympic year, and I've told you this from January. The only thing that matters in this country this year is the Olympics. So for the upcoming athletes, Africa Games are important, Africa Championships are important. For the big dogs, it's Paris. So I'm not too worried, how did you do in African Games, how did you do in Africa Championships? For the big dogs, like you said, it's in a month. It's in a month. In a month, we start to worry about it. But As a continent, Bernard, we shouldn't do what we did in Douala. It
was shameful.
You cannot have a clapper like Bernard.
2024.
Africa Championships, and you saw the athletes, they really spoke about it. Marie Josette Alou, Leslie Teboho, they're all like, no, guys, it's got to be better.
And you see, even there's a particular point, there was a bit of confusion. I think it was in the 800 meters, because for the women's, obviously we knew it as a Kenyan who won, but the way the standings had been, the podium positions had been structured, you're looking at the timing, so you're wondering, okay, it's a Kenyan who won, but you're seeing them in number 6, and the timing is just off. It was just chaotic.
Bernard, you are awarded to host. If they just gave our Mr. Tanui here at Nyayo,
yes,
we'd have, with a moment's notice, we would have been, clapper, mbao.
Walichoma.
I hope walipaka ile choka. You know, in primary schools, to paka choka, so that when it claps, you can see the...
In slow-mo, it looks nice, but it's still complicated. Anyway, Wakabi, let's... Unfortunate situation not transpired. At least Kenyan bagged several medals in the African Athletics Championships. Now, let's head on to Europe, where Wakabi, there are 2 games that are currently ongoing as we speak. And that is Croatia against Italy, Albania against Spain. But the big game is that one between Croatia and Italy. The permutations are very interesting. They must win. Otherwise,
survival.
Yes.
It's basically last chance saloon for both of them. Croatia are just old. They've got my age mates playing in their midfield. Things are not going to go well. Football is about youth. They have too many old players. I think they've tried to milk everything out of it, but at some point you've got to change. Italy on the other side just haven't been able to rebuild their squad properly. I know they won the Euro 3 years ago, but other than the Euro, they really haven't been able to build a decent side. They were second best versus Spain, and Spain have maybe one of the teams of the tournament so far. Just the way they play. Albania are just an interesting team to watch. So probably Spain get the result. This one, Italy, Croatia, is a case of who's worse than who. I'm not sure who gets out of it. Maybe Italy. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe because at least they are young.
Yeah.
Croatia needs
Things
to...
are...
Hi, Croatia
Father time.
Father time remains undefeated. They need to find the younger play. Luka Modric must just retire.
Right. Now, Wakabi, during, of course, our review of what transpired at the African Athletics Championships, there was a guest in studio who was smiling to herself because I think for her, she found it a bit interesting that it's a major athletics championship, it's a major regional championship, but there are those missteps. But I just want to get your opinion, first of all, and welcome you to the show. Angela Okutoi, the African Games champion. You competed at the African Games in Accra. And there was a bit of disquiet regarding the African Games. Of course, we all know what happened before. But then there's almost something similar with this African Senior Championship. But just tell us, how was it for you in the African Games, winning the African Games title in the women's tennis?
Yeah, thanks for having me here. For me, winning the All-African Games in Ghana, I would say it was really nice, and it has always been my goal. So me being able to attain that was something special for me, for my team, and for the country. And actually, my experience in Ghana was actually good.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. Maybe the tennis side was quite good. But just the first days was tough because there was no ice for us, and we all know in Ghana it's pretty hot. Sometimes you don't have water. That was just the beginning.
Really?
Yeah, before the tournament began. So like we had to like only have 1 bottle of water to survive the whole day when you're in the tennis court.
And how many milliliters?
It's a small one.
How?
Like 500 ml or 1 liter.
And how hot was it?
It was really hot.
Ghana is
like
hot,
just warming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, just warming up, you start dripping. Like
and you had 1 bottle of water?
Yeah, and no ice. But that was before the tournament began. But after the tournament began, everything came in place. There was water, ice, and everything just seemed nice. So yeah.
Fell into place.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how does it feel to make history? Because the last time a Kenyan won that medal, I wasn't born, and I'm pretty old. I wasn't born. So you achieved something that hasn't been done in almost half a century. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, being able to achieve such a big title means a lot to me. And I'm just happy that I'm able to like show them that we have talent also in tennis, not just track. I know track is really known in Kenya, which is pretty good. Yeah. But I just like the fact that I'm changing the perspective of sport in Kenya, and me being able to just win the title at All African Games just breaks it through, and being able to just compete with the best from Africa and becoming a winner in that event just meant a lot to me.
And the fighting spirit, especially, was it in the semi? The fighting spirit when you are, what, 2-5 down? and then you just found a way to fight back, found a way. What's going through your head when you know this girl is one game away from winning this match? What's going through your head? What made you keep going? What made you say, I'm fighting, I'm holding on until you then win that set?
For me, what was running through my mind, actually, we were changing sides at 5-2 each end sides, and I was sitting on my bench and I was crying. Yeah, I was crying just the fact that I knew I could win her just from the 2 sets I played, and I knew I didn't want to like lose this way. So I was like, I need to just fight for each and every point, and I was just like, I need to be a dog and just, you know, just give her a fight, and that's what I did from 5-2 till I won the set. And I feel like that really helped me, and also the fact that I was thinking of my grandmother too, because she's my drive. So when I thought of her during the changeover, it just gave me this extra boost that, yeah, I need to fight, like it's time.
So when the tears come out, what's going on? Is it your grandmother? Is it the game? Is it all of them? How is all that coming together? Because I can imagine you sat on your bench for the changeover and your tears are coming out. Like, how is that moment like?
It's tears of anger. Yeah, I was just angry the fact that maybe I didn't play my best in those 5 games. So I was just angry, and I was like, I cannot let her win this way. Like, I fought a lot to reach even in the semi-finals, so I need to like bring back my A game. Yeah.
Tell us about the final itself. How did it feel? Because I think how many hours did you play? It was a very long final.
Semi-finals or finals?
It's the semis, the one that
was. It was the semis. That was the long one.
That's the 2-5 one.
That was, how many hours was it? It was like almost 3-4 plus?
4 hours and 20 minutes.
4 hours, 20 minutes.
She just refused to lose. You literally refused to lose,
Yes.
Angie. You basically said, I am not losing. Because that's how, from everyone who was following it, it was almost like, I shall not lose. 2-5 down. And that's why, I go back to it. What's that, like, there has to be something that made you feel, I shall not lose.
My grandmother. Yeah, she's my drive. So when I thought of her, I was like, I need to fight for her and for myself too. Just the fact that she sacrificed a lot for us, and yeah, and she knows she never fights. So I always try and take something from her, and that really boosted me during the match. Yeah.
And after that, you are African champion. What's the feeling like when you finish and you're like, well, grandma, I did you proud?
After I won, I feel like I didn't have any feelings. I was just there. It was like normal for me, because even my teammates were asking me, Angie, how do you feel? I was like, normal. I feel like it didn't really hit me yet, but after like 2 days, that's when I felt like, oh, actually, I achieved something big, and yeah, I should be happy of it. So yeah.
Comparing that with, of course, you made history about 2 years back in the Australian Open, winning the first match. I think the last time a Kenyan won was many years back.
Yeah, she competed at the Australian Open, and then maybe Wimbledon is probably
Wimbledon, the same year.
Yes.
How did it compare that with your victory in 2022? That winning your first match in the juniors at the Australian Open. How did it feel? Just if you go when you replay it back, how does it feel for you comparing the two?
Comparing the two, I feel like the Australian Open, I had more feelings. Like I felt it like, oh, actually I did something good compared to Ghana. I feel like for Ghana, it didn't really hit me yet, but it did afterwards. But I feel like at the Australian Open, it was, yeah, it really hit me a lot. Yeah.
And which one is bigger in your estimation? Is it the African senior title or is it the junior one?
I feel like for me, I would say the Grand Slam more.
Yes.
Because it's just a big event, like it's very huge and it's like worldwide, so
yes,
you're competing with the best and all that.
Yes.
But also All African Games is also big, but if I was comparing the two, I would say the Grand Slam.
The Grand Slam, yeah? Even though it's a junior.
Yeah.
And the African Games this year was, of course, put you in place, and everyone is looking at you and thinking, Angie is going, this puts her close to the Olympics. And after that, we started learning about, oh, how do you qualify for the Olympics? You need to be in the top 400. How much of a dream is it for you to get a chance to qualify for the Olympics?
To qualify for the Olympics will mean so much to me.
Yep.
It has always been my childhood dream, and I'll just be happy to even get the chance to be there and to participate, because I believe I'll be the first Kenyan to do that in tennis, and that will mean so much to me. And just the fact that I'll be able to show young kids and just to show them that your dreams are valid if you just stay consistent and believing in your goal and putting God first. So I would say it will really mean a lot to me.
How does it frustrate you that the process is so complex? Like you win the African title, ONS is not going, but you have to look at the rankings, you have to look at what, and it's just not straightforward. How frustrating is it for you to know that Tennis Kenya is having to do a lot of talking and a lot of cajoling and convincing? How frustrating is that as an athlete?
I feel like as an athlete personally, it really frustrates me because first of all African Games were supposed to be held last year, but due to some issues it had to be held this year. So that gave me really small time to even prepare and even have my points in. Because even with the rule, I only found out this year that I needed to be top 400. And considering that I'm in college, that's really tough for me because the school can only allow me to play 2 weeks max. Or if I do more, I'll lose my eligibility. So that really affected me a lot. And I had to like juggle between college matches, my school, and also to get the ranking. So I would say, yeah, it was really frustrating, but I did what I did, and yeah, I did what I could. Yeah.
Just to that point, I can only imagine how chaotic it is. Just help us understand. You're saying the school only allowed you to do 2 weeks. So how does that work? Like you have to compete in how many tournaments? Just help us, because it sounds very chaotic.
No, it's not. It's actually, I get it, but let her explain to you. But I get it. I completely get it because she's on scholarship. So yes. The scholarship has got, I don't know why I'm explaining.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the scholarship, I signed to play for college first. So they wouldn't allow me to play more than 2 weeks tournaments outside from college. If I do that, I lose my eligibility of even being in college, any college, not just in urban. Right? Yeah. So I only had to play 2 weeks and then play for my school, maybe for 2 weeks, and then play again 2 weeks, not like 3 weeks in a row or more than 3 weeks or 2 weeks. So that's how it worked, yeah.
And obviously in those 2 weeks, you're playing like how many tournaments?
2 tournaments.
2 tournaments?
Yeah.
So each tournament affords you how many points?
It depends with the grade I play. So if I'm playing a higher grade, then it has more points. If I'm playing lower grades, then it has less grade. But it also depends because US, they don't really have, at that period, they didn't have much of the higher grades, so I had to rely on the lower grades.
Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of the current WTA rankings, you're 494, right?
98.
98.
Yeah.
So, because I checked 24th, I think it's...
So it's, yeah.
Maybe it's changed.
Maybe it's changed.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's changed.
Because I checked the recent ones. Do we still have hope for you qualifying? I know there was a cutoff date. I don't know, was that official? What is the arrangement? Do you still have hopes of qualifying or it's done?
For me, as of now, I still have hopes because my federation, Tennis Kenya, appealed. And we all know, I think they only have 2 continental tickets or wild card. And as we all know, ONS isn't playing. And I feel like Maya got the 1 continental. So, yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah. Probably I might get the next one.
What would it mean for you? Like, I know you touched on it briefly, but how would it feel? Because you've been making history in so many levels. You have this close again. How would it make you feel to go to Paris?
Going to Paris would really make me happy, and just to show me that I'm headed on the right direction, and just to show me that all the hard work I've been putting in is actually paying off. And yeah, just being able to compete with the best at the highest level will also mean a lot to me because I always love playing with tougher opponents because that's when I feel like I play way better with tougher opponents, and I'll just be happy to even be there and play and even get a win. Yeah. You
spoke of ONS Jaber. There's a time you sent a DM. What made you? What was your thought process at that point when you sent her that DM? And then of course she responded almost 2 years later.
When I sent her that DM, it was just to wish her something or to congratulate her because she was really doing good for the continent and for the country and for herself, of course. And I feel like she's inspiring me to just do good for the continent. And I just like the fact that she's at the top just to show us as Africans that we can also achieve. Because I know her journey also wasn't easy to even reach at the top, but she managed and she was able to do it. So yeah, that's why I sent her a DM. Yeah.
And she responded after how long?
After 2 years. Which is fine, at least she responded.
Yeah. Have you met her? or not yet? No.
I did meet her, actually.
Okay. How was the experience meeting her?
But that was in 2022. It was before the DM, yeah, in Tunisia, actually.
Okay.
But she didn't know me then. But I feel like now she does, so it's a good thing. Yeah.
Let's talk about how your life has changed in the last year and a half, 2 years. When we last spoke, you were getting ready. We were out at Nairobi Club. You were still trying to figure out this whole thing of what's going to happen. But since then, you are at Auburn. How's life like in the US? How's life like as a university student?
Life like as a student athlete, it's actually nice. I feel like I've adapted to the place pretty well now. My freshman year was quite tough. It's always tough as a new person in a new place, but I'm just happy that I had my teammates and my coaches. They are really there to like support me and make me feel at home. And right now I just feel nice to be back and to even go back. And yeah, it's nice.
So what kind of adjustments did you have to make? I mean, both in playing and in just generally. What kind of adjustments did you have to make, and how quickly did you have to make them?
Adjustments, I would say, because before I was doing homeschooling, so I had to adjust to wake up early and walk to class, because I have to walk 10 minutes to my classes. And the good thing, they only last for 50 minutes, and I only have 2 classes a day, so that's pretty good. And what else? And to adjust, to have my own timetable from here to here, there to there, I feel like, yeah, I had to adjust to that.
Let's talk about the tennis side of it, because again, you've had a really interesting path up. 2 years in Burundi, back home. How's the tennis side? What is different about the tennis side then and now?
I would say the difference between then and now in my tennis is, right now, when I'm in Auburn, I'm playing a lot of matches every week, which improves, I improve a lot in my tennis because I get to play with different opponents and different strength, and I have to use my brain. So I'm really thinking a lot, and that's really helping me, even on the next stage. Yes. So it's really nice. Before, I only had to train, not enough matches. We know why. Yeah. But now I'm playing a lot of matches, and it's really helping me a lot in my game. Yeah.
What about, let's talk about the coaching, the infrastructure. How different is it, and how much are you learning? How much have you learned in the last year?
I would say the infrastructure is, I have everything I need, the equipment, and also the physio is always on the court with us. So in case I strain my leg, she's there to see what really happened. Did I fall like this, like this? It's not like maybe when I'm in Kenya to explain to some doctors it's tough. But when I'm there, it's easier. She's there to see, so she knows. And I have the facility, gym, and the tennis is there. The tennis courts are there, free for me. I can train anytime. And the coaches are always there to help me. I usually have individual session with the coach, just one by one. So that really helps me a lot. And yeah, I feel like everything is nice there.
Diet, is that also a factor as well? Is it something that you factor in your training as well?
Yeah, my diet, I really take care of it a lot. But the good thing
Did you do it before? Were you keen on your diet before?
Before, I wouldn't lie, no. No, I didn't have enough money to really have the right diet. But I was trying to maintain. But the good thing, I was eating ugali, chapati, so those are nice ones. So I was getting strong, you know. But in the US, the good thing with Auburn, there's wellness. We call it wellness kitchen. It's only for athletes. And there's a dietitian. So we always send reports on a QR code on what we need, and they try and stabilize on what athletes need to eat. So it's always healthy stuff on that nutrition kitchen. So yeah.
So when you're in Kenya during the Billie Jean, were you still giving a report back?
No, you only give report when you're there.
Okay. This is like a break. Okay. Yeah. Help us understand that, because what she said is very interesting. So there is a special kitchen. So how is life as a student athlete? Because clearly it's things we don't know. What is it like? How is it structured?
Okay, it's structured like this. So as a student athlete, first, if you're a freshman, you have to stay in the dorms. And that dorm is only athletics, athletes. So you only stay in a dorm. And you have the wellness kitchen, only athletes eat there, no one else. And as I said, like there's a dietitian, they tell you, or you tell them what you need, and they try to like balance it on what the athletes need to eat. And what else? Oh yeah, you have the physio, like each sport has their own physio. Each sport, they have their own fitness coach, like you don't mix it, like, yeah. And you have your own tennis coach. And the administration, I feel like all the administration in Urban, they know all the players or all the athletes, so they try and reach out to you. You have psychologists if you want to see them anytime. So yeah, I would say it's pretty organized.
And on the education side, do they have specific targets that you have to hit, and how are you able to balance to make sure that you stay within what they require?
Yeah, on the education side, we have a strategist, that's how they call them, like someone you go and see one-on-one. Like I have mine, she's called Christine, and she has really helped me a lot. So I go to see her twice a week, Monday and Wednesday, and she helps me with my planning for the week, just to make sure I'm like on the right track with my school, and just to make sure that I'm having the right GPA to even be eligible to compete for the tournaments. And if I need tutoring, she tries and arrange them for me. So yeah.
Do you get homesick?
I would say my freshman year I did get homesick, but now I'm getting used to being without my family, so not really, because I do reach out to them often.
How tough was it that first year, as a freshman?
As a freshman, it was really tough.
Because I know I can tell you really love your family, especially your grandmother.
Yeah, as a freshman, it was really tough. Crying every day, calling them every day, but I knew that there's no other way, and I just had to accept that this is what I chose and this is what's gonna help me, and that's what I did. And yeah, life is pretty good now. Yeah. You've
adapted well.
Oh, I have. Yes.
Your sister is also with you, but not with you. How does that help? Like, she's in the same country, but she's on another side. How does that help? How is that?
Oh yeah, Rosie is in a different state. She's in Kansas or Arkansas. And it's tough because we don't really get to see each other a lot, but we do reach out. But I would love if we are in the same state or the same school. That would be awesome because we'll get to see each other, encourage each other like physically, and just be close because we are twins, you know, you cannot separate us, but that's how it is. But yeah.
You communicate daily, I'm assuming?
Yeah, daily. Yeah, every day.
When you look at where you are today, do you at times pinch yourself and go like, I'm at Auburn, like I'm from LCVR Valley Road, I'm at Auburn. Do you at times just see how far you've come?
Yes, I do see myself where I came, because it pushes me to even go further, just to see where I came from and where I'm headed and where I am now pushes me a lot. So I do, yeah, I do, because I feel like someone sang this song, I forget the name, I think he's from Mombasa or from Kenya. Usisahau mahali umetoka, something like that. So I usually have that song in my head every time, and yeah, I've been told a lot by my uncle not to forget where I came from, but also remember where I'm going. Yeah.
To remain grounded.
Yes.
Okay. Where are you going?
To the Grand Slams and the Olympics, yes.
The US collegiate system in the last few years has produced a few top players. How does that give you encouragement? Because initially there was this argument of, do you turn pro or do you go to college? I was in the college one, you know, I was always, please go to college, please go to college. How is the collegiate system working in terms of producing tennis players that maybe gives you the belief that you're also on the pipeline?
Yeah, just seeing top players, like we have Ben Shelton recently from Florida Gators. He was in college. We have Diana Schneider from NC State, but now she's really doing good in the pro circuit. It just motivates me and just shows that I actually chose the right direction. It might seem long, but I can actually attain my tennis dream. And the good thing is college, they have this thing, if you're really good in college, like you'll get wildcards to big events, probably WTA 100 or some WTA like 125, so you can really get wildcards, and that's a really good thing that ITF did with college or WTA. So yeah, I feel like it's such a good thing. Yeah.
So there is, like, you can see your path.
Yes.
How close is how far are we from you turning pro? When you look at, of course, you've got to finish college, but when you look at it, do you feel you are making strides towards what it is that you want to do?
Yes, I do feel I'm making strides, and there. And I feel like soon I might even play my first Grand Slam. I mean, I was checking the rankings, and if you're inside, like, or if you're like top 200, 300, you can actually enter the qualifying. And with my ranking now, and the fact that during fall you don't play much of college matches, but futures events, I feel like I'm gonna pick most points in that fall, and to see myself maybe even in the US Open, who knows? Yeah.
What's your timeline like? I know you've given us an idea of how the route, but what's the timeline are you looking at in terms some of these Grand Slam tournaments?
Well, I'm trying to look for this US Open this year's, just considering that my ranking is actually moving on pretty well, and I'm gonna try as much as possible during this fall before US Open to gain a lot of points just to boost it. But if not this year, I'm looking on next year. Yeah, 1 year at a time. Yeah.
You have wonderful history, Wimbledon, Australian Open. Are they also something that you have in the back of your mind as well?
Yeah, back on my head, because those are like my favorite Grand Slams, especially the Australian Open, so yeah.
For you to turn pro, you've got, of course, got to finish your college. What are you studying?
As of now, I'm doing business administration. Yeah.
So you executive, corporate, project management, stuff like that.
Yes, yes.
and why that particular course?
I wanted to do apparel merchandising, but as I said, I had my strategist, my consultant, and she told me it's gonna be tough for me. The fact that I'm a student athlete, and that will, like, I'll never mzigo mingi. So she was like, don't do that. Yeah, so she suggested, or she asked.
Angela Oktoi, AO, I think.
Yeah.
When was this idea conceived?
So the idea, I wasn't really thinking of making a logo that soon, but a friend of Omanyala who made his logo, Omanyala texted me telling me that someone has a logo for you. He's called Mukuvi. And I was like, oh, that's good. Yeah, I can take it. So that's how he came up, and he told me that he has a logo for me. And you can see the A, it's like a racket, and the O is the tennis ball. So I saw that, and I was like, this is really creative. So yeah, that's how I wanted the logo too. And I feel like having a logo is really nice sometimes, because sometimes it's tough to interact with your fans or people who love you. And I feel like just them having the shirt or my logo will really make them feel connected with me, because sometimes when I lose, it's tough to, you know, but just them having that just, yeah, makes me happy and connected.
You've talked about your fans, and of course your stature has gone up. How do you remain grounded? You are at the athletics champion, the National Olympic Trials. How's that for you, interacting with the fans, and even sometimes with the other events? How do you remain grounded? How do you keep yourself calm?
I try not to show ego. I just try to be humble. If someone asks for a picture, I give it to them if I have time. If I don't, sometimes I even apologize. I'm like, sorry, I cannot, like, you know, like peacefully and humbly. Yeah, but I do try to find time for them, because obviously they're happy to see me, and it's a lifetime thing. Because even me, if I see Serena Williams right now, I would want a photo with her. So, so yeah, I do try and find time for them. But if I don't have time, as I said, I try and apologize and I move on.
On social media, how do you handle the attention?
Oh, on social media, I try not to look at comments. I do get notifications, but I like swipe them, you know. But other than that, I try to limit my time on social media and just try to be focused on what my goal is and my aim. And yeah, that's how I stay grounded.
Does it distract you? Could it distract you? Could social media distract an athlete? Distract a young lady who's doing great things?
I would say yes, it could, but if you just, like, as I said, like, block, don't, or even delete social media if you want. I mean, for me, it hasn't yet, and I'm grateful, and I hope it doesn't, but I do feel it does affect some athletes.
So I'm guessing maybe you manage the amount of time you spend. Do you give us an idea of, like, on a typical day, like, which platforms do you even use mostly or not use?
I balance. I feel like I'm more on maybe WhatsApp or Instagram. Twitter, no. It's not for the weak. Facebook, sometimes. But I'm mostly on Instagram and WhatsApp, yeah.
But duration you...
I balance, yeah.
Balance.
Not every time.
Okay.
Yeah, when I have time, I just check and then I log out, yeah.
You've said, which is a bit contradictory, your favorite slam is the Australian Open, but your favorite surface is clay. So which one are we going with?
I said that. Not because I made history in Australian Open. Yeah. It's just my experience in French Open wasn't nice.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, but the French people were rude. Yeah, I didn't really like that. So, but I've always loved Australian Open. Like the ambience and everyone there, they were really nice. Yeah. And yeah, but I still love clay. Clay is my, if maybe they had clay in Australian Open, then perfect. But
why clay? Why is clay your favorite surface? Why do you enjoy playing more on clay more than any other surface?
I feel like I enjoy playing more on clay because I grew up on clay. And yeah, nimekula vumbi mingi, so yeah, that's why I love clay. And I like sliding. Like, it's fun. It's like it's crafty. So yeah.
Who's your favorite clay court player?
Guess.
Who, Nadal?
Yes.
Why? Because of his fighting spirit, or because you fight? You
fight.
really fight.
Yes.
So is there something there that makes you go like, this is why?
Yes, the fighting spirit is one of them, and like he's always professional. Even how the way he puts his bottles, like he looks like a serious man. So yeah, I like that about him. So yeah. Some
say it's OCD. The bottles have to sit at an angle to the court, and he has to do the same thing every single time. Do you have quirks that do you have things that you have to do now that you talk about Nadal? Are there things that you have to do before you serve, before you receive, before changeover?
Yes, before I serve, or even before a point, like I always have to go to my towel if I have time.
Why do all tennis players do that? What is this thing with the towel?
It gives you time, like you breathe, you talk to the towel. Yeah.
So what do you say? Oh, yeah, that time you're just telling yourself.
Actually, I don't talk to myself that much on the court, but sometimes I'm like, Angie, you got this, you know, while wiping my face and just catching my breath. Yeah.
What else?
You're gonna hit an ace, then boom, ace. But yeah, like small things that's gonna like help me during the match, like positive talk, like positive self-talk. Like this point, you got this, thinking ahead. You're not trying to think of the past point.
When you're in Auburn, is this something also that you're trained in terms of, do you have mental coaches as well? Is that something that is there as well?
We have psychologists, and it's you to go to them. But they do, like sometimes he tries and comes and like teaches the breathing and all the psychology stuff. But mostly you have to go find them when you have these bigger issues. But if it's these small ones, no, not really. No.
What do you mean small ones? What are small issues?
Like now the mental coaching, if maybe you want, because they don't really teach you on how to like your routines and rituals on the court.
Yeah.
Because that's what I had a mental coach back here, Kanyali, I think you know her.
Yep.
Yeah, she helped me a lot, and that's how I got my rituals and routines, and it has really helped me a lot. But in college, they're mostly like if you have mental issues, the psychologists, it's not mostly focused on the tennis part. Maybe if someone hurt you or, you know, stuff like that.
Things.
Yes, those ones, yeah.
So they're able to help you navigate through them. How important is it for you to have someone you can talk to, especially when you're away from home and away from grandma?
I feel like it's important, but I don't use them. I don't know why, but I don't. Because usually I feel like you have to solve problems on your own first. Because what if he or she is not there? Like, how are you going to do it? You know? So sometimes I've never used a psychologist. Never.
Is that as a product of how you grew up?
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, yeah.
Just to be tough, like you learned how to be tough from a very, very early age.
I did, yeah. And I carry that with me, yeah.
How much does it influence who you are today? Those tough first, let's say from when you were 5 to when you went to Burundi. How tough how much do you look back at that as your motivation, and as how much did that shape who you are today?
I feel like it really shaped me a lot. That's why I'm strong, and I have this, I think you've heard it, like no weakness. Yeah, that's something, like it motivates me every day, and I know I'm strong and nothing can break me. Even when I'm on the tennis court, if I'm down, like I want to come back up because I know like I have it in me and I just need to bring it out. Even though it's screaming, well, I don't scream, but yeah, I feel like, yeah, my background really strengthened me and is still strengthening me, yeah.
What else do you do to reinforce that mental strength? Because I feel like there's, as much as there's that background, are there other things that you do that helps you grow your mental strength?
Nothing.
No.
No.
That's it?
That's it, yeah.
That's it, fascinating.
Yeah.
How is Grandma doing?
Oh, Grandma is doing good. I think she's watching right now. Hi. So yeah, she's doing good. She's happy. Yeah.
She's retired now.
Yeah, she's retired. Yeah.
How proud is she of you? And
very
Rosie?
Proud. Oh, she's proud of us, and yeah, she always wants us to do greater things. And even though I've achieved this, she still tells me that usifikiri umefika Anji bado. Yeah, like she tells me, and that really motivates me. Like she wants me to become the great of the greats, and that's something I really appreciate. Yeah.
How does it feel when has she attended your matches? How does it feel when she's there? Like the recent one for Billie Jean.
Yeah, she does attend my matches, and me seeing her there makes me happy. Sometimes a bit tense, you know, because I want to make her proud.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's the good one, not the bad one. Yeah. But other than that, I'm always happy. Like seeing her on the stands makes me happy. Yeah.
Right. Okabi, let's shift gears and take a look at, or you want one last?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm very happy for Angie.
Yeah.
Everything I hoped she would get, she has done. I hoped she would go to college. I hope she'd get, so that there is a backup, and then the path towards professional tennis, I can see it coming. She's only 20, so she's got time. In 3 years, she should be on the circuit. WTA 500, 250, and then of course the very, very big ones, the Grand Slams. She probably will be, not probably, she will be the first Kenyan to get to a quarterfinals of a Grand Slam, the first Kenyan to get to a semi, and who knows. Ons has been to 2 finals.
And his predictions are usually spot on, pun intended.
So I'm very, very happy for what Angie has achieved. She's done really, really, really well, and the fact that she keeps coming back to play in Kenya, because she could choose not to, but she keeps coming back. She keeps coming to play, and I hope her impact is felt beyond her, and that in a few years we can have another Angie.
Right. Let's take a look at the shot of the weekend, and this is a moment we get to reflect on a moment that was captured uniquely by our colleague Chris Omolo. Okabi, this was a basketball match, and I can tell you for a fact, I need Chris to tell us one day how he was able to get this shot.
Does he? It's the second time I'm seeing a shot like that.
Yes, it's the second one he has that one like that.
Does he have a camera at the top?
I think he'll tell us. We need to find out. So this is Timothy Ayeko.
Yes.
He plays for Strathmore Swords. He was watching the ball go into for a basket. Game 1 of the KBF semi-finals playoffs against KPA.
The rim is rather high.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to. I don't.
Or maybe he sat at the. This is Nyayo.
Yes.
Maybe I don't know. Good question. I don't know.
We'll ask
him. I don't know. We should ask when he was here just now. We should. But again, it's always in the detail and the emotion and the focus, and because the guy has just released it.
Yes.
So he's praying, hoping, like Angie said. You talk to yourself. Please go in. Please go in. Please go in. Please go in. And then luckily it went in.
Right. Now let's take a look at what has been a big talking point on social media. Obviously, this past weekend, the Kenyan Premier League concluded officially. We all know Gor Mahia won the title, Wakabi, but this one, of course, this is something that was shared on social media. Gor Mahia's coronation finally happened. They have it, their 21st title and counting, Wakabi.
Yes, fantastic for Kogalo. They continue to set the standards for everyone else. Truly peerless where this country is concerned in football, and for them to once again go ahead and ease into a win, 3 games before the end of the season, they already have it. I think it's excellent, and it's a challenge to the rest of the teams. Come on, Tusker, come on, AFC Leopards, come on, Ulinzi, come on, Sharks, come on, Kenya Police. Someone has got to challenge Kogalo, because as it is, they're winning this easy, and they were so good defensively, barely conceded any goals. Excellent. But now, interesting, because they've lost their coach. So let's see which coach they bring in and whether that maybe
momentum
affects
can be
the
maintained.
team. Yeah, yes. But Kogalo just seemed to be a class above the rest.
Now, you touched on this in the beginning of the show. It was the US trials, US Olympic athletics trials, just for clarity, because they also had other sporting disciplines having the individual trials. But Okabi, the trials almost felt, because you know most people talk about the Kenyan Olympic trials. They almost talk about it like it's like the mini Olympics.
Yep.
Same for the United States, and it ticked all the boxes.
Yes, it did. All the big guys are out. They've been avoiding each other in the 100 meters, in the 200 meters. So it's good that they finally get to meet each other.
Especially the 100 meters.
Yes, the 100, because Fred Curley, Noah Lyles, and my new favorite American, Kenny Bednarek,
yeah.
I was so happy to see him qualify. But yes, there is the race. And the guy is wearing the kind of kit that everyone is going to know who is there. Everyone is going to know who is the main guy. And there he goes in. He's able to celebrate before he wins. That's Noah Lyles. He's made the team. Fred Curley's made the team. And Kenny's made the team.
My only disappointment was Coleman. Christian Coleman was, you know, I would have expected. He's had a phenomenal season. I thought he would.
It's just, he has one disadvantage is that I think his best distance is 60 meters. He's got the best start in the world, and through 60 meters, I don't think anyone can live with him. But once you go into the 100, especially the way Kenny Bednarek has looked this season, I think it's the best he's ever been. Fred Curley, of course, is fighting his way back, and Noah Lyles is like the new star of it all. I'm not too surprised. I didn't think he'd make it. I thought it was too stacked for him. But in the end, I look at the times, and I'm like 9:83, like 9:80. When he ran 9:80 in the semi, the wind was +3, and I think like Federer 9:79. I'm like, we are in business. And one of the last things about this, the Olympic trials, was seeing Snoop Dogg run the 200 meters in 34.44 seconds.
Yes.
I don't think I can do 200 meters in 34.44 seconds. Boss, that's fast. That means if you are to do 400 meters, you are doing it in 68.
I think I'll try it one of these days.
You should.
Because I know I did my 100 meters is 13 seconds, 13 point something.
That's nice.
And I'm not even trained, I'm not warmed up. So imagine. Just
in another life 10 years ago, you might have had a career.
There's a media championship for sports journalists. Put me there.
Yeah, that's doable.
Now, we've spoken about the Olympic trials. Now, there's another big championship that's happening, obviously, in Germany, and that is Euro 2024 Wakabi. It seems like the kids love Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yes. It's like, what's the word? It's like a football god. Actually, one of my friends said, it's not like a football god. It is a football god.
So this was during the Euro 2024, and Wakabi, this kid just decided, you know what, I'm just going to risk it. I'm going to dash there and going to say hello to Mr. Ronaldo. During the match, you can just see what it meant to him. Took a selfie.
It tells you, that's what, Gen Alpha?
Yes. Mimi, acha nishikwe.
But here's the thing. I wonder why the stewards are chasing after him. Like, I really don't. And I
unfortunately, it's disruptive.
No, I get it. But look, the kid has already had his picture. So he's walking out already.
Yeah.
Why are you chasing him like he's a thug? Like it's after the fact. Does that make sense?
Yes.
He's gone in. He's had a nice, good selfie. And then you're chasing him going out. They are diving towards the child. Just let the young man get. He was getting out anyway. I don't get the stewards there. I think they heavy-handed.
Heavy-handed.
Yes.
Now, this next one was, of course, before the start of the game. And Wakabi, you know the way they usually have the young kids lined up in front of them. Now, for this young kid, let's take a look at this one. And Wakabi, it meant everything to be next to the great Cristiano Ronaldo.
Again.
You can just see her just...
Again, football god.
You can just see how
like
she
can't believe.
She can't believe it.
She's like, yes, it's Cristiano. Yes.
Angie, when you meet Serena, will you be almost similar?
Oh, yes.
Who have you ever met that made you that nervous? Or made you nervous? You're like...
Djokovic. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you took a picture with him.
I did, yeah.
You took a picture with him. And is it Billie Jean as well?
No, unfortunately, no.
But she's tweeted about you and said something about you winning. Yes, when you won Wimbledon, she wrote something about...
Billie Jean?
Yes, the tennis
yeah, I think
and
she
stuff.
Did. Yeah.
So Djokovic, not bad.
Not bad at all.
Greatest male tennis player of all time, at least in terms of slams, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Now, this next one is still with the Euros, and it is a gentleman who's just made people have a very good time, Wakabi. You know, the things about Euro 2024 is the way, the energy. I think they watched the African Cup of Nations and said, no, we can do one better. So this guy, he has a saxophone, and take a look at what he did.
life of the party.
He's the life of the party.
Like he's the centerpiece.
Yes. Everywhere he goes, once they see him,
they know.
It's bedlam.
I almost feel like sports is trying to make up for the COVID years. The Euro 2021 was all funny. The Olympics 2021
Even AFCON
was
was
funny.
funny last
Yeah.
year.
So I feel like the world is trying to
Recalibrate.
get back to and to enjoy it. But that's
because actually this year's Paris Olympics will be the first one since
Rio.
Since Rio,
where
that
there's a proper
had
crowd.
Something at least you feel.
Yes, and the Euros. If it's anything like the Euros, it should be a lot of fun.
Well, we're still biased. It's still the Euros. There's been a lot of interesting things on social media regarding the Euros. Now, this one was unique, Wakabi, because it is Schmeichel, a Manchester United legend, interviewing Schmeichel, father and son.
Yep. Says what? I do a lot of post-match interviews, but I never do this. This moment between Schmeichel and his son is the best. I can say this, that this is probably the every man's dream.
Let's listen into what, let's just replay it again. Hopefully we'll just hear what father told son, because Wakabi, you can only imagine. Now, how do you say it? Do you say, the way you call it, those pet names. Me, I call boy.
See, I do a lot of interviews, post-match interviews with players. I never do this. Well played.
Let's go.
Oh, there you go.
You know that.
Fantastic.
A bit sweaty.
See you.
Yeah,
Cheers. It must be the dream of every man or woman.
Yes.
To be able to see your child reach the top of the top. Like, I don't even know how you'd explain it. Like, for Peter to sit there and this is his son and his son has gotten to the very top. Peter won the Euros back in '92. The son is playing in the son has basically gone all the way to the mountaintop just like he did. And then of course he's given him his jersey. I think it must be a very...
Apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Yes. I was going to use a Kikuyu phrase, but then I think it would be unfair on Angie, so let me keep it.
So we'll fast forward and take a look at the last interesting thing that we've seen on social media, and that one is called the Katie Ledecky Balancing Act. That is the last one we're going to focus on. Wakabi, now this one was something special. It just tells you, I don't even know how she was able to do this. Like, it's a level of dexterity, a level of balance. There we go. So she took chocolate milk, not to drink, but to place it on her head. Yangu ingemwagika yote. Before even...
And then she swims.
Katie Ledecky.
I mean, she's one of the best swimmers in the world. But for you to be able to do this, I wonder what drives you to trying something like this? What makes you think you would do it?
I think it's just, you know, it's just to show a skill, just something that...
That's what I'm saying, but the balance, man.
It's something else.
The balance, to be able to... Because she's moving. It's not like she's just floating.
Well, that cup has... Anyway, I think it's a normal cup. There we go. I hope she took a sip. Yes, she did.
There you go.
But you know that if it was me, it would most likely have been half hot chocolate milk, half swimming pool
There would
water.
not have been half of anything. It would not be on top of your head.
Yeah, you went down already.
That's. I wonder what makes someone do something like that. Like the party trick, like to think, how can I? Because because swimming, you're moving.
Yes.
And she's.
Finally, Angie, what unique thing can you do? Do you do something? Have you ever tried something like a... Because I know people have unique things they do. Some footballers, they dribble something. Do you do something unique with the tennis racket and the ball, or not yet?
With the tennis ball, I do try and juggle with my foot.
Like how many can you do max?
The max I did was 11.
11? That's
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah.
Because it's small.
Yeah.
11 is better than most of us.
And on that juggling note, thank you so much, Angie, for joining us on the show. We wish you all the best as you hopefully qualify for the Paris Olympic Games. And from the entire team who made the show possible, we hope to see you again very soon on Spot On.
kikohozi cha muda wowote, kutokwa na jasho kwa wingi usiku, uchungu kwenye kifua, afya kudhoofika, tafuta matibabu. Labda ni TB, ni ugonjwa wa kweli. Ukipimwa matibabu yapo utapona. Daktari kushauri tumia dawa kwa nidhamu. Elimu tupashane tupige vita TB. Pimwa TB, tibiwa ishi poa.
Mimi si Alisha. Mimi sitajifungia kuweka chumba huko juu nikilia. Mpaka ile siku utakapojifunza kuheshimu ndoa yako, lakini jichunge. Badilisha hizo tabia zako.
Ushauri wa shetani.
Nyamaza wewe na wewe macho makubwa tu.
I hear Rose is facing a financial crisis. How could you have appetite when your salon is falling apart?
Kwa hiyo umekuja hapa kusherehekea vile unavyotuibia clients with your free coupons.
Something like that?
Alex, piga kelele pa utoke, lakini sikufungulii mlango.
So wataka nilale wapi?
Enda ulale chooni, jikoni, kokote utakako, lakini usinisumbue.
Alisha, hata Tony ajaribu kukushawishi vipi, usiwache mipango yako. Dai ya deni ni kulipa.
To register or book an exhibition space, visit the website or contact Anastasia on 0719 488 767 and Patrick on 0719 395 824.